This is Adam Spickler, a Cabrillo College trustee. How are you enjoying your time here at the QYLA tonight?
Oh, it is lovely. I just arrived and I'm so impressed by how many people are already here enjoying the resource fair. And what's really great at this point is so many old friends and new friends are kind of arriving, and we're all saying hi to each other, and it's really wonderful to see each other.
I'm really glad to hear that. Why is supporting queer and trans youth, in addition to general queer community, important to you?
It's fundamentally important to support queer youth. I was not brave enough to be out and deal with the complexities of who I was when I was young. And I think if I had more support people who were older adults in my life then, like I see so many youth do now, I think my life would have been different. There would have been more support, and it's just important to do that.
That was wonderfully said. What project have you accomplished in the last year that you're most proud of that might directly empower the LGBTQIA plus community?
I'm so glad you asked that. As a trustee at Cabrillo College, I'm really proud that I've been able to initiate a lot of LGBTQ specific initiatives at the college since I got elected in 2018. This past year, what we've been able to do is apply for and utilize funds through a state bill, Assembly Bill 132 from last year, that provided the state chancellor's office funding for LGBTQ specific curriculum planning and student support development. And this past year, we've taken the funding, we've put together what we're now calling the Cabrillo Rainbow Council. And we've got a group working on curriculum planning and empowering queer students. We've got another subcommittee working on signage and restroom use and facilities and making sure we're more and always increasingly LGBTQ plus friendly. We've got a PR committee to work on how when each one of these groups does something, we're messaging out appropriately. And we're also, for the very first time this year, we've got an active GSA through the Rainbow Council. We just held our very first lavender graduation yesterday. I was going to say last week, it was yesterday. And this coming Sunday, we are having a lavender prom for the first time ever. It's taken Cabrillo a little bit longer than I'd like to catch up and be as on point. I think that we've always been a college that's been LGBTQ thoughtful and sensitive, but now we're being LGBTQ leaders in the community.
That sounds like you've been very busy.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear how support for the queer and trans community increases each year in your field.
Well, specifically in education, higher education, I think we're becoming increasingly aware of the complexities around gender identity and making sure that we have gender studies throughout the higher education, whether it be community colleges or the UC and CSU system, that really address gender equity and thoughtful learning about gender in a way that embraces how folks identify now, as opposed to when women's studies and traditional gender thought was put together over a decade ago. So I think I could go on, but that's probably one good example.
Yeah, well, that's a very good example. For our last question, our theme this year is peace and positivity in the queer community. What do you have to say to queer people watching tonight?
Well, I appreciate the question, and I think for folks who are thinking about the struggles you're having at the national level and how to address feeling attacked politically by conservative folks and squaring that with peace and positivity. It's remembering that when we come together and when we're in community, the stronger we are in that way, the harder it is for those folks who are trying to harm us to have any success at any level. And there's a peacefulness and a powerfulness to that, and a positivity to that community, working together, having compassion with each other and for each other. And I think that's the most important thing we can do right now, because there are just daggers coming at us from too many directions.
Well, thank you so much for your wise words and your support being out here tonight.
Thank you for having me.